socials here, see if everything's rocking and rolling. We are
To be
live, so anybody
completely
can
honest,
talk.
with half of our viewers in Vegas, I don't know how many people we're gonna get.
Yeah, shout out to the boys and who, or maybe they're still awake. Who knows at this point?
They're just still riding their bender from last night.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. You know how many times I looked up and it was this time in Vegas. Plus, it's an hour earlier, so 9:30. Yeah, you could be at a hotel pool right now, being like, "Fuck, I gotta go to sleep."
Yep.
There we go. We're sounding good. First. Yep. There we go. Perfect.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fishing Elephant First Team Mock. We got Jace coming in here, raw dogging in. He's got like probably 2 hours of preparation on him.
That's
but
correct.
God bless him for the idiot savant of
Bryce Young's a
Fishing
quarterback,
Elephant.
right? Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, Bryce Love, the running back out of Stanford. I thought he was drafted like 5 years ago. He's retired by now.
Close.
Yeah.
Where do you guys have Andrew Luck going this year?
Yeah. You know, really like that kid out of Stanford, Elway. You know, it's a hell of a prospect. I heard he was drafted by the Yankees too.
Just got out of my 27-year coma.
Yep. The Broncos are still good, right? They have Elway. Yeah, whatever happened to Terrell Davis? He probably broke the all-time rushing record, right?
Oh.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I guess without further ado, let's if I can get my mouse over here. Boom. Let's start the draft. First up on the clock, we have the Carolina Panthers, which is
Yes.
going to be Jace.
All right.
Little breakdown of how we're going to be doing this here. We'll start with Jace. Rick's going to go second. I'm going to go third. Siglin's going to go fourth. Jace will go fifth, and do the math after that.
All right. So, obviously, Carolina just gave up a lot to move up to the number one. Definitely going quarterback, obviously. A lot of the reports are saying that Tepper really likes Bryce Young, but Reich really likes C.J. Stroud. So it's a matter of which one do they end up taking. I know some people have Richardson going there. Some
I was
people
gonna
have
say, and
Levis.
supposedly they both agree on Richardson.
Yep.
Is like how it goes.
I think that I think that there's going to be a lot of bold mocks coming out, but I honestly think that they're going to play this one pretty safe, and I do think Tepper's going to win out there, and I got them drafting Bryce Young with the number one overall.
Da-da-na, da-da-na. Quarterback out of Alabama, Bryce Young.
Which leaves Texans as number two.
Second on the clock.
Well, we all know the Texans could go quarterback here, but I think what I'm going to do with them is to take
Are we getting cute already?
best
Oh, we're
All
getting
right.
cute already.
and help their
Trust in the
defense
Mills
out
Mafia.
and go
Huh.
Will Anderson.
Wow. All right.
'Cause
We
they
have a
two
shocker.
They have two first rounders. They can get a quarterback later.
All right. Well, this leaves me in an interesting position because I think so far, in the spirit of team mocks, I agree with Rick. We've talked about this. But now, in the spirit of mocking, in the spirit of flowing like an actual draft, does this move surprise the world on draft night in this scenario? And does somebody trade up to number 3 now?
They
think-
want too much.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
You think they want too much?
They want too much. For you to move up 2 picks, they want your first next year and possibly it's a later round pick this year as well. Was the reports.
Really?
That's why no one's moved up yet.
Do the Texans have enough to move back up to 3 though with their 12?
Yeah, right. Just Rochambeau.
Just saying. That's
Who is their
That-
GM?
that's
Kevin
not in-
Costner?
That's not in the.
Yeah.
It's in the realm of possibility. That's all I'm saying. In this particular situation, wow, Will Anderson. That threw me for a loop.
I told you before he was going to throw you for a loop.
Yeah.
I literally set this up. This is
right.
very poor storytelling at its finest. I'll break the kayfabe there. But in this scenario here, if you're the Cardinals, you need help with everything on defense. And I think even though there's character concerns, Jonathan Gannon's a defensive coordinator. He's going to want to build around what? Defense.
But
Let's go
what
with
did he
Jalen
just
Carter.
lose like all of this year?
Everything. They lost everything.
They lost most of their secondary.
But what did it cost?
Yes, but they're not going to go. Siglin, this is my pick. I threw you at the fucking Colts. You ain't going to sit here and deny every damn pick. We went Jalen Carter, number 3.
I don't think there's a corner that's good enough to go 3 at this point, but maybe there is.
Yeah, I don't really think there's a Sauce Gardner, or like even people talked about Stingley apparently as a prospect was good enough to make that top 5er. I love the corners here, but I think that talent almost lowers the chance of someone going high. Like I more see like a run of corners going in like the middle rounds.
Yeah.
Rick talking to Ghost over here.
Well, personally, we're drafting for my team here. I got everyone on the board. I personally want Will Levis, but I think that the way the locker room's going and what they want, we're going Stroud.
CJ Stroud, product of Ohio State, off the board at number 4. Jace,
Wow.
you are now on the clock with the Broncos' original pick. So funny enough here, the way it worked out with me giving you the number 1 pick is you got the Broncos 2 picks they've owned at one
Yeah.
point. Theirs and then the 29th that they gave up for Peyton. Obviously, Broncos not picking in either, but you have quite the situation at 5 now.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I did not have Seattle pegged for taking a quarterback right here, but there's a couple on the board that I did not think would still be here. So if I'm in John Schneider's at the GM.
Yep,
So
John
I'm in John
Schneider.
Schneider's shoes. You got Geno Smith. You just signed him to what, a 2-year deal?
3,
3-year deal. So that tells me-
35.
So 3-year deal, but that it's loaded with incentives based off performance. That's
it's-
how it maximizes his contract.
35 a year. I think 70 is guaranteed.
So that tells me they're not looking at him as like a super long-term option. Maybe somebody that could be a veteran in the locker room to help develop a young player if they decide to take somebody with explosive upside. And I think that Anthony Richardson would be a very
Oh.
interesting pick for the Seahawks right here.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I
in
think-
Washington, the gun control state, we have an AR-15 sighting.
That's where
yeah.
where he wants to go.
Yeah, and I think that you're under Pete Carroll. I think it's a good place for. We were talking about this before the draft. That Richardson's very raw. He needs to go somewhere with a good
Needs
coaching
coaching.
staff that can develop him. And I think that the Seahawks taking Richardson would be the perfect fit if he falls at number 5 to them.
I also can see that as another trade point too. The
Yeah.
Seahawks are gonna trade down almost every.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
You're not wrong at all.
They do trade back a lot.
Yeah, big trade down candidates I see in this one. Seattle, Arizona, if they end up kind of balking closer to the draft and accepting less, or honestly even the Raiders too. Like, they've been heard to want to move from number 7, either up or down, and I think down is possibly more likely. But we're to you at number 6 for the Lions.
This is a tough one.
I was gonna
Lions
say
make
very tough.
every single defensive spot. I feel like. 6 is. I feel like it's a little early for corner. But
Witherspoon is nice.
Yeah,
Witherspoon-
so
I
it's like
love
Gonzalez is a
Witherspoon.
freak-
So it's
freak.
Tyree Wilson isn't Tyree Wilson the kid that's like 6'6",
The edge guy,
270 pounds or something like that?
The Lions don't really need an edge though. It's the one position.
That's
that
true.
you
They
really
got
need.
Hutchinson last year.
Yeah,
Well,
but then
and-
you team up him with Hutchinson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you also got James Houston, who came on
Yeah.
really nice at the
Yeah.
end of last year as a rookie, 6th rounder. So
And
I mean,
Rodriguez.
This is a good
Yeah.
cornerback class, isn't it?
Yeah, it's-
this is a really good
very
corner
good
class.
corner class.
Yeah.
Really good.
I think there's enough corners later. Yeah, there's this. I don't know what the Lions would do here. This could be another trade point too, actually.
I don't think so. He wants to get a big piece.
Yeah.
This is a hard one.
The Lions do need secondary help. They got torched last year.
I don't think they need an edge, so I think they're gonna have to go Witherspoon here.
That's probably what I would
That's
end up
okay.
doing.
That's a good
I think
pick.
it's a skosh early for one of these corners, but I don't think they can. They won't get either one of these corners at 18.
Yeah.
The 2 studs, in my opinion.
For me, what I love about Witherspoon is his tenacity. Like, he's just got like this playmaker instinct. He's not afraid to go up there and tackle. I think Gonzalez is the better physical athlete as a prospect, but Witherspoon is his mentality and the way he performed last year. I don't hate the pick.
Yep.
Now at number 7, where do we go? Raiders are interesting. So a big one here, I'm just going to preface as tackle is what a lot of people talk. We're not going tackle. Colton Miller's on the left. We just re-signed Jermaine Illuminor on the right tackle. He didn't allow a sack the last 14 weeks of the season after a really bad start to the season. So I like riding with him going forward. So at this point here, honestly, we just kind of need defensive help. And in this situation here, I know we have Chandler Jones, but as someone who's versatile enough to both play the edge and kick down inside a little bit too, I love Tyree Wilson. So if he's available here, I do think the Raiders go with the best quality pick and they grab Tyree.
And he's going to learn from Crosby.
Oh yeah, you put him next to Max Crosby and that motor and just the way he's developed, love it.
Oh, fuck.
Here we go.
Well,
This is
have
where
they,
it
have
gets
they
interesting.
have they come out and openly said that Ritter is the starter? They're behind Ritter.
Didn't they just sign a
Heineke. They put Heineke behind Ritter.
I think Heineke gets the starting job, honestly.
The hard part is I question quarterback here just because of where they've gone.
I question quarterback too because
Where they've
next year's
gone.
class is really good.
And they've been investing in their defense this offseason, so I think that's kind of where they're focusing right now.
They could go this could be a wide receiver.
That's gonna be my guess. I'm actually gonna go with his combine performance, JSN.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I think you pair him up with Drake London, you get Kyle
That is
Pitts
a
and Johnny Smith out there.
Reach. But hey, you're drafting. That is a reach.
I had them taking
Oh,
Christian
mine it has him
Gonzalez.
11, so I don't know where
Yeah.
you're saying reach.
I don't like him that high.
I
But he
like
could.
him. I just
I mean,
Yeah.
they don't need two big bodies. Quentin is the
You're
better
correct.
receiver, but for
Absolutely.
what they need, the receiver is JSN.
yeah. It's a good
Or
pick.
Zay. It could be Zay.
It could definitely happen. It could definitely happen. Like I said, just from my personal opinion, I'm like, I obviously had JSN a lot lower.
Yeah. But Sig has been the draft champion the past couple of years, so
That's fair. That's fair.
I just have a feeling they're going to take Christian Gonzalez there. I
I
think they're
don't
going corner.
disagree with
Yeah.
that at all, but they also are like really loaded at their secondary. Like their secondary is one of the youngest secondaries. They're still all on rookie contracts.
That's
This
true.
Bears pick could be the difference here too. In this
Yeah.
entire middle part of the draft, because they could go anywhere.
Yep.
I mean,
Oh,
if
they
I'm the
quarterback.
Bears, I know what I'm doing.
Here's an open question again. Looking at where Levis is now falling to number 9, do we possibly look at a trade up here for one of the many quarterback needy teams?
Yeah,
I don't
'cause-
think Tennessee's done anything much more to address anything behind Tannehill. Now they did draft Malik.
Mm-hmm.
I've just heard rumors that they're not so high on him, and they have a new GM in house.
Yep.
So at this point, we talked about it too. Will
Yeah,
Levis
we
kinda
did.
seems like a Titan quarterback. Be a small swap here. Kind of looking at the board too. I don't really think the Bucks go anywhere after Baker.
That'd be the only. That'd be the
Yeah,
next thing
the
back.
Jets right now are a question, but like 5% because Rodgers
Honestly-
hasn't technically happened yet.
If he doesn't get traded, I'll tell you he's going 12.
That's fair in this draft scenario where Rick just kind of threw
You
off
know,
the draft.
saying
that's
if-
actually what I'm actually looking at. The
That's actually
Texans
Texans
trading
trade
back
up
up
right
right
here.
here
That's
is
actually
what
a
I've
good
been
idea.
what I was looking
Texans
at.
trade up to
Now, they get Will Anderson and Will Levis. They enforce
draft.
their willpower.
Yeah.
Yeah. See what I did there?
All right, I'll swap you
was.
first and give you next year's third.
Okay.
Is that enough to move up 3 picks?
Why?
I mean, do you still feel like the guy that you want for the Bears will be there in 3 picks?
It's not for me to say.
No. It's
Hold on,
me.
they actually
I'm,
have a trade chart here.
well, I'm trying to force this trade on my mock draft app, but it's not. It's only giving me an option to trade with Tennessee.
So it looks like going up at
Chicago.
that point. Yeah, next year's third would probably be.
Oh, select a team
and
to
at
trade
that
with. There we go.
point, 12 to 9. Next year's third or this year's?
Next year's.
God damn it! This is
I'm
so
still
hard to
trying-
do away
I'm
from
still
the
trying
computer.
to build my team.
Houston Texans. There we go.
Texans have 2/3 this year. I forgot about
Yeah. So next
Okay, I
year's
can
third.
do.
You
I
said
could do a third this year if we have
Do
two.
the second one. Do the second, third, maybe.
Jesus Christ!
is that 70?
Through that, that'd be fair.
So what pick number is that then? Because I'm not seeing rounds. I'm just seeing pick numbers.
12 and
I'm above 1250 on you.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair. All right, everybody in agreement? 12, 112, and 310 for 19.
Yes, but what overall pick number is 310? Because I can't. It's not. Is it 104,
Oh
162,
Jesus!
187,
So 65 would be so
Yeah.
74,
73? Okay.
73. There
I'm
you
saying
go.
Houston's not interested, so I can't force the trade on mine.
Yeah, you. What are you using? Are you using PFF?
PFF.
It says in the bottom right corner, force this trade. You just check that box.
Banana, banana. The Texans are now on the clock, and I think we're going with Levis then.
Trade accepted. Oh. All right.
Siglin.
Um,
Or I guess, well, I mean.
No,
you're
it's okay.
pick
We
nine,
can.
but yeah.
We can go to.
yeah, it'd be Levis.
Yep.
Yep. So Will Levis. Yeah.
That's what I said. He was gonna go at 12 either way.
Yeah, that's some Kevin Costner ass shit there. Go away from a quarterback. Just it was Will Levis they wanted all along. All right.
Boom.
How do I get it so it makes me select the team now
I absolutely hate.
after the trade accept?
I,
just
I
go back
hate
down
that I have
then.
the Eagles here and they just get the player they need.
It says on the clock.
Gross.
Yep.
Well. the
So do I still have
Eagles-
to select the team?
What?
It's not letting me select the player after the
It's a
trade
sick
went
one.
through.
Here,
Go right.
Then you go to draft a player right there. Oh, trade.
So-
Hold on.
here, Cole, why don't you do that, and we'll let.
Rick, go ahead.
I mean,
Right.
the Eagles, it's pretty obvious. I mean, I guess they have a few different needs. PFF has them at their number one need is a wide receiver.
I would respectfully disagree.
I know. And I was like, well,
I mean, they could use. I mean, I don't know. You've got Devonta
think-
Smith and AJ Brown. You don't
I think
really
corner
need.
makes the most sense here, actually, because Darius Slay, yeah, they're keeping him, but he's
Only on a 2-year deal too.
And
He's
he's
what,
older,
31
too.
years old,
Do
32.
they have a good second corner?
Bradbury, they signed him for 3.
Yeah.
They did sign him.
Yeah.
That's right.
But you get a talent like Christian Gonzalez.
I
It,
think that
yeah.
makes the most sense.
That's where I was leaning to.
Christian Gonzalez for the Eagles.
There we go. All right, now you go to draft player, and then Will Levis, and then we're going Christian Gonzalez
Christian
here.
That's
Gonzalez.
just, I think that's honestly arguably a steal for them. I hate to say that as a Cowboys fan, but
Then the guy I was actually going to take with Chicago's pick is still there too, so it'll be interesting if it gets.
See, at this point, I will say that I believe the Titans still need a tackle.
I would say tackle would be
However, the signings they have made in the equity is almost like they believe that they're going to have their answer in house with one of the signings that they've made. They've made like 2 at tackle. I can't remember names off the top of my head here.
Yep.
So that is an option here. However, what they really haven't done is add to that wide receiver room. And even though they went there last year, AJ Brown is a 2 first-round pick replaceable type of guy, and that's why you're going to replace him with someone who kind of models his play style, Quentin Johnson.
he's
TCU.
better than the
Yep.
one from last year anyway.
Yep,
I-
I like him a lot better than Burks.
I don't think they go receiver there. Personally, I think the tackle is going to be the bigger need with the best tackle on the board.
I agree.
It's dead. There you go. It's back in there. Good job, buddy.
Sorry, we're running a child labor suit next
Yep.
door, so it's
Finish
not your
make-
it's not your
finish
break
making
time,
your
Manuel.
iPads.
Yep,
Got 5 more.
we taught you how to make it in the training video this morning. No, that is Star Rhett of
I
Rick.
disagree with your pick in live time, but it's your pick.
So I'm gonna jump in.
Same
here
with
next
you,
since-
Reach Boy.
I'm gonna jump in here next since Sig and I swapped in now that the Bears are back. So Sig picked for the Texans in my place. Now I'm picking for the Bears in his place. So, who I had the Bears taken, they need some help up front on the line. They need that defense needs help, and I had them going after Lucas Van Ness. And that's
Lucas
who I
Van Ness.
that
there
is
we
who
go.
I will continue to have them taken right there.
Over Kalijah?
So Van Ness is going to be an interesting prospect because I think he tested and he looks the part of a top 5 prospect.
Yep.
The problem is he was not a starter at Iowa. You know what I mean? But he still racked up starter numbers. It's very interesting for him because on the one hand you have the argument, oh, he was fresh all the time, but it's still like he's still a physical freak.
Yeah.
Like should have been starting. I think he needs a development year, but the Bears is a perfect place to go. Number 13, the New York Jets currently still own this pick. Popular opinion, do you guys think they end up at least trading this pick for Rodgers?
I don't.
Yes.
Because I know that right now
Absolutely.
it's rumored Packers want 2 firsts. I don't think that
Absolutely.
happens.
Ridiculous. 2 firsts is absolutely crazy.
I
I literally think that if they're not going to end up getting a trade done that isn't going to screw over Rodgers' team, Rodgers will just retire. Like, he's fine.
Yeah. Do you guys want to bake into the cake here that the Packers have this pick? Because I think
kinda
that
do.
I
I
think
kinda
that they
do.
absolutely are going to have to trade this to get Rodgers if they want him.
Yeah.
They might be. I don't think they're going to trade more than a first. Honestly, I think it's going to be like a first, a fifth, and
I don't think he goes for a first, man. He's a quarterback that holds the team by hostage year after year. He's 39 years old.
But he's still Aaron Rodgers. Like, I mean, yes, I understand on the context. Like, I agree with you on, like, I wouldn't want the Raiders, for example, to pay a first rounder for him, but he's still Aaron Rodgers. I still think the equity in this league, like, he will get at least the 13.
I think
the Packers
actually
wide receiver too, so it could be like the first and Elijah Moore or something.
maybe, and this could be another
Elijah Moore hasn't signed anywhere. He's a free agent.
No, he's
another
not. He's still under rookie contract.
Yeah. another realistic scenario I can see happening is that the Jets agree to a second that can become a first if they make the AFC Championship or something like that. Yeah, if they make it so far in the playoffs, that
That's actually a
second
solid point.
becomes a first. Yeah. So,
So we're not baking it in. So we'll just go with the Jets then
Yeah.
at 13, which is once again you.
is it me?
Yep.
Okay. Shit.
You got a lot of options here.
Yeah.
One popular one that's still been going around because they've made a lot of free agent signings, but they still haven't done one thing if Aaron Rodgers is coming there, and that's protect his ass.
That's I was looking at tackles. Yeah, that's where I was looking.
I
at.
think
Yeah.
scheme fits Skaronski's better, and I also
Yeah.
like him more.
That was my pick, but I just wanted to.
Yeah.
I meant to actually look at the Jets' off-season moves before I decided. I didn't realize I was on the clock already. My bad.
Oh, you're
boys.
good.
All right, yeah, let's go Pete Skoronski then for the Jets.
Also, Eric, my pops, chiming in on the Packers here as a resident Packers fan, does think Rodgers goes for a first and a player.
I feel like the Patriots are a weird one
I could definitely see Elijah Moore being part of the Rodgers trade, though.
for sure because he wanted out last year.
Elijah Moore and Christian Watson would be a nasty duo in Green Bay.
Yeah, that'd be something to start up with Jordan Love there. Like, I mean,
I think the Patriots could go so many different ways with this pick.
How about out of the league? That would make me happy.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
well, because arguably, I mean, I don't know if Juju's all that they do.
They still have made wide receiver, but I think at this point it's kind of a reach for the receivers that are remaining.
I like Zay Flowers, but I just don't see him being a fit there, even though he's from Boston College. So, would not be moving too far down the road.
Corner's not a bad idea. I also could see this as a trade point, but I think they could go corner here.
They did re-sign Jonathan Jones this year,
Joey Porter, or
but they didn't
Banks?
cut Jalen Mills.
I like Joey Porter better. I
Yeah.
think Joey Porter here.
Plus, you have the legacy, kind of built in the game IQ. He's a nasty corner. I love Joey Porter Jr. He's still my third corner, but that just speaks how deep the corner class is. Like, I mean,
In real life, I almost see Paris Johnson.
Yeah. He's living his best life, right?
he's living his best life. At 15 on the clock, we got the Green Bay Packers. So wide receivers rumored, just with not really having anything right now.
Do they have any on the roster anymore?
Well, they do. They have Watson, but I mean, obviously you got Lazard's gone, and they haven't really made a key signing.
They
I'm gonna
lost
make-
all their tight ends.
That's
Yep.
the point I was going to make too. They just lost. Wow, Jace, holy cow, what's his name?
Tanyan and
Tanyan, thank you.
and
Robert
Mercedes.
Bobby Tanyan and Mercedes. Yep.
Bobbert.
I think yeah, I would not be surprised if they took a tight end.
So Dalton Kincaid has been gaining a little bit of traction because he's a little bit higher receiving end than Mayer is, but I still think Michael Mayer is the top tight end in this class, balanced overall. And I think, honestly, this is just kind of one that makes a lot of sense. Just going forward, give Jordan Love a nice security blanket, get him someone who's good. I'm going with Michael Mayer. I agree.
That's a good pick.
Siggy,
Commanders.
come on.
Well, we're giving our young boy Sam Howell the reins, and I'm gonna need someone to protect him.
Paris Johnson.
We're gonna go Paris Johnson.
All right.
Shift
I
around the
agree.
line.
I agree. I think that's a good pick for them. I don't know if well, apparently Dan Snyder's selling the team, so you maybe expect some smart moves coming out of Washington eventually. So
We'll see if they actually sell it.
They cleared out their offices.
yeah, it's getting closer. They cleared out their offices.
They
yesterday
cleared
or
out their
day before.
offices, and then 2 weeks ago there was rumblings around at J.P. Morgan or whatever, wherever they're having the sale go through, that the paperwork was being signed for $5.5 billion.
So where I'm at with Pittsburgh, I think Paris Campbell's who they wanted. He gets sniped right before he gets to their pick.
Johnson, Paris Campbell's a wide receiver for
Yep.
the Raiders now. Or
What,
no,
did I say Paris
Giants.
Campbell?
Giants.
Sorry,
we
my
got
bad.
Philip Dorsett.
Yep, my bad. Paris Johnson, my bad. How many Parises are there, right?
Apparently a lot.
Apparently.
Go tackle or corner here, right?
You go tackle, corner, even wide receiver. They lost, or they traded Claypool as well. But I,
Still got Pickens and Deontay though.
yeah. So I think that with Paris going before them, they shift back over to the defensive side of the ball, and I think they take think they keep Kalijah in Pittsburgh and take Kalijah Kancey.
I like Kalijah Kancey.
I don't hate that pick at all.
If the Raiders trade back, that's definitely who I want. Oh, why the fuck he's so
Detroit already
far?
got corner, so that kind of ruined my plan there. So appreciate that. That was a
Oh, is
perfect
that who
pick.
you're taking?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a perfect. I think the D tackle is like their number one need, arguably
Yep.
for the Lions. Lions
Brian Brees
I was
isn't
about to say
bad.
Brian Brees is still available, and I think this is more realistically the range he goes. That could, not be a bad pick.
Why are they showing running back as a need on this thing? This doesn't make any sense.
Because they lost Jamal Williams.
It probably doesn't. It's
Well,
not. It's not
yeah,
accounting
yeah.
for Montgomery going
Yeah,
there. So
Walk the Mock is probably a
Yeah.
little behind on that.
Yeah, I think Brian Breesy's probably the one to go here. Yeah, Brian Breesy. That would
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they need everything.
What do the Buccaneers need? Yes.
Yes. Who? What? God damn! What team was that last year where it literally said all?
Yeah,
AOL, was
the
it the
Texans.
Was it
Texans.
the Texans?
Yeah,
Yep.
literally every- yeah.
It said needs all.
All.
What do they need?
PFF shaded the
A
fuck out of
team.
them.
They need a
Everything.
team.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Bucks are on an absolute total rebuild at
Yeah.
this point, obviously. I mean,
Well, quarterback, I don't think is likely. Plus, you don't really have any one of the top four guys. Well, there is. I think McKee or Hooker could possibly sneak into the end of round one, just pending who's there and who wants them. At the end of the day, though,
They're saying
they
Hooker's
haven't
a third
replaced.
rounder.
What's up?
They're saying Hooker's a third rounder.
Yeah.
I could see that because of the ACL. I still think he's first round talent.
Oh, he's definitely first
Yeah.
round
just
talent.
because the Bucks need so many things, this could be a trade back point too, honestly.
I could honestly see Brian Branch going here.
Yep.
They just lost their safety.
Mhm.
They need a starter that's going to be there for 4 or 5 years.
I could also see the Cowboys trading up and taking Brian Branch here as well. But
That's, a
Well, that's
little
really cool.
homering you.
Well, if it was your guys' pick, those are great options. But let's shock the fucking world. Leonard Fournette is out. You know who's in? Bijan Robinson. Give me a top 5
After
back right away.
after the season that Rashad had last year.
Yeah.
Yep. Even then.
Huh.
Shocking it going Bijan here.
All right. I hate it.
Rashad still.
I have
Fucked
Bijan
my
respected.
whole- you just fucked up my whole draft.
Rashad averaged under 4 yards a carry. Like, I'm sorry, but at a certain point, too, their offense wasn't working. Byron Leftwich is out. They're going to have a little bit of shakeup in-house there. Even though Todd Bowles is still the coach, Brady's gone, you're going to have a whole new team there. And so I think Bijan's a perfect person to kind of build that around. Bowles always seemed kind of more of a run-first coach anyways. So, I think line could also be one here. I did consider for a second Broderick Jones or Anton Harrison, especially because I think Wirfs had was out last year, so maybe put someone at right tackle.
I
or-
hate that pick because I was taking Bijan to the Chargers with mine, but I respect it. I respect it.
Nolan Smith.
That's a smart move. Over Miles Murphy.
So Nolan Smith to the Seahawks.
Over
Okay.
Miles Murphy. The Miles Murphy drop continues.
Nolan Smith had an insane combine.
Amazing combine. Where are the Chargers going?
well, you stole his picks. So he's got
You
to
did
take
steal my pick. Yep.
I'm
Now,
surprised.
all right. So here, I'm going to tell you who I'm between, right? Because I think there's two areas that the Chargers are going to try to address. The running back position, they gave Eckler permission to seek a trade, which tells me that they're
Where
going
do
to.
you think he goes? Speaking of that,
I did think the Bears until they got Montgomery, so I'd have to think more on that. But do the Chargers
Bears-
take Jameer?
Bears
Bears
got rid
lost
of
Montgomery.
Montgomery.
or not?
Lions.
Or Lions. Oh yeah, no, the Bears is who I had. That's who I
they
had
still
them.
good.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
still
that's who I
could.
had them going or him going to. Sorry,
It's the Herbert
Yeah.
show now.
Done a couple
my
trades
coffee hasn't
together,
kicked in,
so-
boys. Sorry. Yeah, so when that's I'm sorry. Yeah, the Bears is my number one destination for Austin Eckler. Him and Justin Fields together would be disgusting. So do the Chargers take Jameer Gibbs here? I did have them taking Bijan like locked in. Or do they draft someone like Zay Flowers because Keenan Allen is getting up there, his contract's expensive? Do they look to the future, that wide receiver?
See, I love Zay Flowers personally because I think, especially for what they can use in that offense, even if Keenan stays there, which it's looking like he is, and Mike Will's there,
It gives
they
you a
have
true
two.
slot.
They have two big body guys who play outside. They need a true slot, and that's what Zay is. He's a super slot.
Yep.
I was gonna say my picks would be between Deontay Banks and Zay Flowers.
Yeah. I'm going to go Zay Flowers.
Banana, banana. The Baltimore Ravens are now on the clock.
They're always a trade back, like every single time. Obviously, this one's really depending on what they do.
They
with
didn't last
Lamar.
year.
Yeah, because they arguably a top 10 pick slipped to them last year though too.
Top 5.
Yeah, that was a steal at safety. I don't know what the Ravens do here because, well, we don't know what they're doing with Lamar yet. But if they keep Lamar, I think they maybe finally actually help him for once and get Jordan Addison.
I like that pick.
That's a good pick.
If they trade him, then all hell breaks loose. 'Cause I think they're going to do a lot of different stuff.
Is Josh Downs a little more of a big body receiver?
No, slot.
Slot.
Ooh, the Vikings are on the clock. Yeah, you kind of got a couple places to go. I think corner is probably the most glaring need, but after seeing the Vikings whiff on first round corners, it's a little hard for me to kind of take a corner here. Now, last year the rush was just non-existent. Even though they brought Zadarius Smith in, they still have Danielle Hunter. Do you go edge here? Someone like Miles Murphy's dropping. I know that's tempting there. However, though, I think the problem is they have been trying to get too many outside guys. Someone who kind of fits this jack of all trades modern safety slot corner role is Brian Branch. I love Brian Branch. I think obviously traditionally a little bit different than what you see probably like a first round corner going for. You usually want like your outside lock man down, but Branch can play free safety, he can play outside, but where he excels is in the slot.
Yeah.
And that's where I like him. So we're gonna go with Branch.
Shows him as a corner on PFF. Shows him as a safety.
He's a defensive. He's an all-around
hybrid.
defensive back.
Yeah,
he
he's
plays
like-
everywhere.
Kind of like Kyle Hamilton a little bit.
Quicker, smaller,
Gotcha.
but still like he brings tenacity. I
Yeah.
love Brian Branch. I think he's a little aggressive. Obviously, he's got to tone that in, but usually that bodes well long term. So the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock. Siglin, your favorite team.
Fuck you. Deontay Banks.
I like that pick.
They need a corner.
I mean, they definitely.
Wait, no, they just got never mind. That's
They
Jesus,
need a
reverse it,
secondary.
that's
Shaquille
Miami.
Griffin has been dog shit since he left Seattle.
Did they cut him?
No, he's still there. This is his last year of his contract, though. That's Shaquem.
Sorry. Yeah.
Why is Deontay so low?
You sure you didn't skip him? Oh, wow.
No, yeah.
I think that
Jesus,
one's
Lock
just a
the Mock
little
doesn't-
off.
Yeah. Well, after he's been gaining traction this offseason, he got hurt towards the end of last year, so kind of
He's healthy
Yeah.
again.
Giants are a weird one.
They are a weird one.
because they've been spending this
All,
offseason.
all the wide receivers that are worth taking are gone at this point.
Exactly. That's
They don't need a wide receiver, though.
yeah. They did just sign Paris Campbell. Well, I would argue they need an alpha. That's what
Still
they
their
need.
Number one need.
I think that Hodgins is going to take over that role. They paid Slayton, and then
Yeah.
you still have Wan'Dale Robinson coming back from injury, who in those first 4 weeks he
It's
was
not that
great.
it's not that they didn't have wide receivers. They just never had them enough for one time. Because
tight
Hodgins
end
came
isn't
on.
Still don't have a number one, though, do they?
I mean,
So
they might try to rock and roll with it.
here's where I'm at. They just gave Danny Dimes a pretty good bag. They're investing in him, and I think that they're going to be looking to protect him as well. I'm going to go Broderick Jones.
Where does he play though? They have two tackles, don't they? They have
need a
Evan Neal
center.
and Andrew Thomas. They already have. Yeah, they spent the number 6
Oh,
pick on
oh,
Neal
you're
last
right.
year. So I mean, unless you're kicking one of those
you're
guys
right. I forgot
inside,
that. No, I
but
don't-
I could see like maybe Osiris Torrance out of Florida might be another one. But like you're probably looking guard.
They need a
I'm
center.
saying, like, where they're at, you almost get the best value you can. You go with Mel McDonald, the fourth.
We still have Miles Murphy there though. Like I mean,
Yeah.
if you're talking
True.
edge rusher, like he's more versatile and fits their scheme. But they don't even really need an edge. They have
They need a
defensive
linebacker,
talent.
too.
Yeah.
There's no linebackers worth taking here.
In the first,
they
I
have a
don't like.
surprisingly well-rounded team, so
Yeah.
it makes the pick
You know
difficult.
another
They just
thing
traded
else?
for Waller,
Remember
so
we talked about DeAndre Hopkins? This could be a landing spot for him too, actually.
that's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
they
Say
could.
that's
They
Cowboys
could.
fan,
They could
but-
be holding off. Yeah. Well, this is where it gets interesting, boys.
It is. Well, let's do a community pick on this one because I'm having a hard time with this one, and you guys have done a lot more research than I have, so I don't want to fuck up the draft.
I mean, like, I don't think there's any wide receiver worth taking.
Yeah.
Corner is
You still have some
Depleting.
corners who can get in. Emmanuel Forbes could sneak into the end of round one.
maybe.
Cam
So could
Smith
Cam
might have
Smith.
just gotten himself redeemed at
There's
the
not a
combine.
linebacker worth taking in this round, I don't think.
Maybe Trenton Simpson, but I still have a day 2 talent on him. Yeah,
Interior offensive lineman. If you're looking at that, then it's obviously the
Osiris Torrance.
and they could put him at guard. I don't know if he can play center or not, but
he's a guard. He's a fucking guard. He is made in a factory to be a guard. He's 6'3", 340. Just
again, this
Squatty.
This could be another one of those trade back points too. You know where, like because of like you're talking about Miles Murphy slipping. There's a lot of teams that need edge. Someone could easily trade up here.
Or even Dalton Kincaid.
They they sign it? Actually, that's actually
They
a
traded
really
for
good point.
Waller.
Well, they traded for
Yeah,
Waller, but
that's true.
you know,
And they still have Bellinger too.
I'm trying to think who.
Yeah, I'm
don't
kinda
know.
I
looking
think
at-
Osiris Torrance. You look at Coach Dabbs. He wants to build it around the line. He drafted Evan Neal last
that's
year.
where
They
my mind
invested.
was going with it.
Yeah.
I just didn't.
Yeah.
The problem with PFS is they don't actually break down the position. They just tackle and guard are the only two positions, and there's they don't even have a
Oh
center
yeah,
as a
he's
position in
he's
here, so
interior.
The only
hard for
center
me
is
to
Luke
know.
Weipler,
I would
What?
say Torrance would be the
rank 46.
Oh, I like John Michael Schmitz and Joe Tippmann more, but
Let's go with Cyrus Torrenson. I think that
makes a lot of sense. Oh boy, no Cowboys.
was on the clock.
I'm struggling there. There we go. Oh, got it.
Pairing up Miles Murphy with
Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, I wasn't even thinking he was going to be an option. I mean, we obviously just traded for a wide receiver, so that kind of eliminates that as a need.
I think that's the only like sub need you guys actually really
well, here's
have on the
problem.
defense
Yeah, but
because Lawrence.
the fact that I don't think we're going to re-sign Dalton Schultz, that makes the other Dalton come into possibility here. Dalton Kincaid could be a good fit.
I do think Kincaid.
I
is,
actually had the
yeah.
Cowboys taking a tight end here because of
If
the,
Schultz,
the
I don't think we're going to re-sign Schultz from looks like he wants too much money.
Yep.
So, other than
Dalton to
that,
Dalton?
I mean, I don't see any corners I like here. No linebackers. I do think the Cowboys could trade up for that safety from Bama, because he could play both. But
Branch.
yeah, this is a hard one. Dalton or Murphy. I mean, we have a lot of depth at pass rusher. I think they're gonna go Kincaid here. I didn't think I was gonna be thinking tight end, but
that's a good pick.
I think it's a good value.
It's a good fit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fucked me with my last pick.
Yeah, the Bills are going to be interesting here. Just because interior O-line's a need, but Osiris Torrance is probably the only person I'd take at guard. Broderick Jones could be kicked into guard, but I think a lot more hype's going around him at tackle. He's kind of tweener at 6'4", but there's been rumors at wide receiver. Edge is probably the one thing they don't need. They are so loaded at edge. That's the hard part is like Miles Murphy keeps dropping here. And
I would go Antoine Harrison since they just lost their tackle,
who'd they lose?
Jonah Williams.
That's not. You're not. No, you're the Bengals, bro. Not me.
Or no, not Jonah, but they lost one of their tackles. Positive. Just in the photo of Jonah, he used to be on the.
All right, let's look this up here. Because there's always the popular pick of running back that literally happens every.
Yeah,
Jahmyr Gibbs is definitely, I think, an end of round one type guy, possibly.
My
no.
stance on that is if they want him, they could pick one of these teams farther down and trade back that needs an edge. Again, Miles Murphy. Someone's going to trade.
and gain some picks.
I don't see Miles Murphy's getting to the 30s. Like this would be crazy if he does.
Their other tackle signed with Miami, though. I know that. Just trying to
So,
find
like,
it.
I mean, I don't know if you want to make another trade here, but I think this could be a really good point because if you think they're going to take a running back here, they could trade back. I mean, who needs an edge? in
A
this
lot of
next-
teams. A lot of teams. But, I mean, that's the thing, though, is like, I mean, there's multiple points where we could have traded.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense here, but also you're just trying to stick to your guns. Maybe the Bills don't get what they want, and they just, don't want to trade back that far because there's also a couple of running back needy teams, too. You're still looking at the Eagles could definitely be a hot spot for Jahmyr Gibbs. You know what I mean? After you went cornerback at 10, so.
They could,
I think they could shock the world and grab Bijan at 10.
Yeah, that's very much a possibility.
Who's that?
Bijan's a top 10 talent, in my opinion.
Oh, the Eagles.
Just by
Yeah.
pure
I
talent.
think the Eagles could shock the world and just take Bijan at 10 and be like, we're set for a while.
Yeah.
Gonzalez slipped to him. I was kind of hard to pass on that. But
I'm not
Honestly,
disagreeing
after
with you.
Tremaine Edmonds left, they need someone who can kind of play the field, run sideline to sideline. I like Trenton Simpson here, so I think that's where I'm going to go. Yep.
How far down is
Oh,
he?
he's down on PFF. PFF dropped his ass to the 60s or 70s, I think. I still have him in the 40s
Well, it
in my
says-
big board.
It says rank is 66, but his ADP now is 48, so it's actually better.
Yeah.
His ADP is significantly better than his rank.
Siglin, you're on the clock with the Bungles.
Well, I was going to take a tight end, seeing how we just lost one. But, fuck it. He's there, Miles Murphy.
That's a good pick.
They could use some depth. I mean, they have decent pass rushers, like in Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson, but yeah, they could definitely use it. Miles Murphy's honestly a physical freak. He can play inside or out.
It's one of those situations where you just take the best available player out of the situation. I think he's too good at 20. He's at 28. That's a steal. That actually was to happen.
Oh, it's stupid if he drops that low. But there's always one every year.
Man, this Saints is a weird spot. I feel like.
Jays to the second pick owned by the Broncos at one point.
That's true.
I feel like this is a really weird spot for the Saints.
Oh, yeah, they just got Jamal Williams.
I think they could also be aggressive and try to move up, but
I agree.
yeah, they have Kamara and Williams. That's going to be a nasty running back combo.
Dude, I think
If
adding
Kamara's
Josh,
still-
I think adding Josh Downs would solidify that receiving core.
Hard part is they have a lot of like younger guys they like that kind of rotate at that slot, and they still have Olave and Michael Thomas.
They need interior defensive line.
And
though,
Jarvis.
too. They could get that Mozzie Smith out of Michigan. Just probably not a bad one either.
Yeah, Smith had a great combine. He could sneak end of round one.
Will McDonald.
Well, McDonald's a good edge rusher, but they have like Cam Jordan and them boys, so I don't think edge rusher is going to be. But they just lost their.
Cam Jordan is how old now?
I know, but they just lost David Onyemetu or whatever to free agency, so that's kind of a tough one.
Yeah, that's a tough spot.
It is a tough spot.
They could-
Um,
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, Keely Ringo's maybe not, someone who could be out there too, just as
They need a tackle
He has
at all.
dropped
They're
ridiculous.
He
good-
has.
They're good on their offensive
People
line.
are hating on
obviously, it
Keely, and I
looks
don't
like
know
from
why.
their draft needs list here.
they're hating on what?
Keely.
I was asking how their offensive line is, but they must be pretty good because
They got
Oh.
Trevor Penning at left tackle, Ryan Ramchick.
They've
at
been
right
building it for
tackle.
like the last 3
Yeah,
years.
so they got a decent. Honestly, I'm leaning towards Matzi Smith.
Yeah.
They need interior defense.
Emmanuel
Looks like-
Forbes.
Oh yeah, they do need a corner pretty bad too.
Or
How is
Cam
Emmanuel?
Smith.
Yeah.
Emmanuel tested amazing at the combine, so I think that probably pushed him back into round one talk. He was mid round two before the combine, but the cornerbacks all tested ridiculously.
Kylie Ringo too from Georgia is good.
For whatever reason, he dropped wicked.
People are trying to hate on
Yeah.
Keely. He's made a lot of he makes mistakes here and there.
Smith from South Carolina is there too.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. You know what?
Either Forbes
Cam
or
Smith. I was about to ask you guys, Forbes or Smith. What do you guys think? So I think they do go corner here. I think that's their most glaring need, just looking at their depth chart and their offseason moves.
I would say Cam Smith.
Probably Cam. He's a little bit more of a dog, a little bit more alpha mentality. Throw across from Marshawn.
Yep. And
know
Marshawn
Den-
Lattimore's not getting any younger too. He's
Later 20s, I think.
yeah.
You're back up again, Rick.
Yeah, Eagles has got him a corner. Man, they could go a couple
I
different
think
ways.
this would be a scary pick for the Eagles.
That would be stupid scary.
You heard of him?
Tank Dill. It's a
It's a
monster.
little early for him, isn't it?
He'll go late day one, early day two.
He'll go late day one or top 10 of day two for sure.
Edge rusher could be one. Running back is still an option. They still haven't filled anything. I know Jace loves Kenneth Gainwell, but the Eagles like multiple backs, and I think Gibbs fits perfectly what they want to do. He's quick, he's fast, and he can play on passing downs.
These were his stats from last year. He's like the receiver that nobody's heard of in this year's draft.
He's Houston's a pass, and he was obviously their number one guy. Yeah, he's definitely talented. I just feel like
Who are you guys looking at?
Nathaniel Dell.
I just think that's a little
Nickname
high for
Tank.
him.
Tank Dell.
I think that's a little high for him. I think Josh Downs is better. I don't think they're gonna go wide receiver. I think they might go edge here actually.
I mean, they need.
Will McDonald.
Yeah, I think Will McDonald actually makes
Will
some
McDonald would be a
sense.
great,
That's a
great
that's a
project
good
for them to
value
work
there,
with.
too.
Okay.
He's got such a like
Yeah.
explosive.
Will McDonald.
Okay.
The Chaps.
Do you go Mozzie Smith here?
Yeah, that's a good fit there. They need D line. Mozzie Smith probably makes a lot of sense. What else?
So they built corner.
They could go after wide receiver here too.
Yeah, they could take Josh Downs.
They could replace Juju right now.
So I know last year, obviously, I mean, yeah, because right now I think the big one is What are
You
they
got
doing?
to
'Cause
remember,
last year
they're
they
still
went
getting
defense.
Justin Ross off of IR this year.
If Justin Ross
Yeah.
was a second round pick, it's not like he's going to come in like he's.
Justin Ross was arguably the second best receiver in college football the year that Jamar Chase was number 1.
Didn't he have like severe back
Yeah,
issue,
and then
like
he
a spine
and then
or
he
something like that?
fell off and got
Yeah.
hurt all last year. So I mean, no offense, just in house, I'm not like I want Justin Ross to succeed, but as a team, you're not hinging on that.
Yeah. The balance of probability says. it's
Maisie
probably not
Smith's
going to.
good. The problem is he's going to be a combine warrior stock. I still have a very late second round grade on him. I think Jawan Taylor is a great upgrade for Trent Brown, especially in that system too, because I don't know. I think Trent Brown wasn't athletic enough to play with the Chiefs. Like he just didn't work out. I didn't like the fit originally. It worked out all right, but probably not to the tune that what they paid for. Last pick though.
Or Felix to replace Frank Clark.
Frank Clark's out, but they already got whatchamacallit, Karloftis from last year's
Two
class. I
defensive
do
ends,
think I
don't
do
you?
think you need an edge though, so that's why I was thinking.
The guy with a really long last name would be a good fit.
Felix Anaduki Uzamoa.
Or Jalari from is he LSU, right?
I'll tell you what, you know who's someone who's been testing out of the water right now is Detomiya Adibawari from Northwestern. So for the
His
he plays
ADP is wicked low right now.
Yeah, 53.
53 at
I
rank
agree.
40.
I agree. But after testing at the combine, depends where you classify him. Because if you classify him as an edge, he was in the upper percent, like in the very good, like 60, 70th percentile for speed and everything. In strength, he was in the 99th percentile. Now switch him to defensive end or defensive tackle because he weighed in at 295. He had one of the top 10 defensive tackle combines of all time. He can play inside, he can play outside, and I think honestly with the Chiefs, you're wanting someone like Karloftis they got last year who can do both of those roles. So, do I think this will actually happen? I'm hinging on it, but I think going with a guy like this who's a riser and a physical specimen that they can, kind of roll with, like Karloftis from last year, match that pick, throw him on the opposite side. It's what they loved about Frank Clark too, is he was a little versatile and, physically a freak. That's where I'm gonna roll. Last pick, boom.
When was that?
Should we do the Steelers? Just give Siglin the Steelers just for shits and gigs.
Shits and
Do
sigs.
they get 32 or something like that?
Claypool.
Yeah, 'cause
This is
it's
the
the
Claypool pick.
Bears pick.
We'll call this one for shits and sigs.
The Bears had pick 32.
Well, the Dolphins gave up their pick or forfeited their pick for tampering.
So this should have been 33, but
Yeah.
Yeah, this would have been 33, but it's upside down world right now. So
who do we have the
Josh
Steelers taking
Downs.
the first time?
honestly, okay,
What did the Steelers get in the first pick we got?
I think this would be a home run for DeJuan Jones here. I love DeJuan Jones. If he goes to the Raiders, I'm gonna fucking freak. Monster right tackle.
Who did you have the Steelers take at 17?
Let's check.
Kalijah.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Kalijah.
Yeah, I think offensive tackle would be a good one here too. But yeah, wide receivers, and that's Josh Downs. Yeah, that's so good. Oh, that felt great. How do we feel about Jalen Hyatt? Is he gonna go like in the second round, or is he? Like a
He
third
could
round
sneak
guy?
into the first.
Yeah, I saw a few
You're
mocks
waiting-
actually had the Cowboys taking him,
you're
but that was
waiting-
before the Brandon Cooks trade.
You were waiting for Tennessee's pro day.
All right, gentlemen. Well, should we
I think
sign
there's
off?
a lot of these players that can
Yeah.
sneak into the first, and a lot of players that could fall out.
I feel like there's gonna be a lot of trading in this draft. I don't know why.
I do because last year we had 9 trades, which set the first round record. But also, I don't know. The offseason also felt wilder last year. There was more trades. There was more dynamic trades, and I think teams were going a little bit more volatile. It seemed like this offseason it's been a little bit more closer to the vest and at home because I've been waiting for it to pick up like last year, just kind of as a
Well,
addict. But
we can still have. Rodgers is likely gonna get traded, and you still have a chance of Lamar happening.
I think the most realistic trade that happens is I do think 13 goes away from the Jets. I can see them eventually working out to maybe a conditional second, but right now, if you had me betting my money, I think 13 and a player for maybe like a third back and Rodgers, or you know what I mean, like however that
What about,
works.
Like a next year first.
Well, that's what I mean. I think the conditional second would be like Rodgers plays 75, 80% of games. Like from what we've seen in contracts in the past, like the Carson Wentz is probably the best one we can kind of go off of, playing 75% of games, or if they make a playoff appearance.
Yeah.
Just being a non-playoff team, that is considered the leap at
Yeah.
that point. So contractual leap for that pick, I think it'd be playoff appearance turns into a first.
Gotcha.
Because then you're getting, what, 22 and down?
Yep.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
I guess any other kind of draft hot takes? We got done a little ahead of time here, so.
I was gonna say for a future episode we should go and rank where everyone ended and rank where we think all the new updates and from free agency on which teams we think have gotten better are gonna increase their ceiling.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like I think the Broncos add at least 5 wins to their total.
Yeah.
I think the Broncos probably had the best free agency. I think the Bears are the most explosive, but for team needs,
Broncos.
the
boosted
Broncos,
line so
yeah.
I was
much.
very,
A lot of
very
offensive
happy.
line.
Like
Russell Wilson's
balls to the
probably
wall.
pretty
Like
happy, too.
less than an hour after free agency started, we already signed the 2 top offensive linemen.
I could see the Browns moving up from 211 in the first round.
Yeah, second round trade ups here, like as far as just looking what we have on screen right now. Let's
I think the Rams
Put
at
the mock
5. I
back.
think the Browns at 11. I feel like the Texans have so many draft picks the next couple of years, they could always move up from that too.
the Texans, I think, are a very hot team to get another a third. It'd be at the end of it, and their general manager kind of comes from like that New England tree, just like Ziegler, and Arizona's new GM too. Like those, like Kraft, Belichick disciples, and trading is very popular.
Yep.
Whether it's up or down, you go for value every
Yep.
single time. Is kind of the philosophy around that. So I think Texans are a team to watch. Down maybe within the first couple of picks. What if they just shock all of us? Like Rick says, they want to not take a quarterback, but maybe they're not sold all the way on Anderson or Carter, and they're fine recouping even more capital, trading back, somewhere in the top 10, and then jumping back up again from this pick to get like a third and first round. You're picking at like 7, Raiders trade up, 12, and
Yep.
then one of those picks we talked about at the end.
28 or something.
Yeah.
I think this year's draft will be interesting.
I could also see the Rams because of their lack of first rounder.
And they need offensive line pretty bad too.
They need
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
Everything but wide receiver.
You think Stafford ends up going anywhere?
I didn't
At
think
all.
he was gonna trade
Mm-mm.
for
I
That's the
think
hard part,
if
yeah.
Stafford ends up going anywhere, it'll be the Jets after they finally backed out of the Aaron Rodgers deal. But also, I mean, the UCL from the elbow, it's just not something you come back from very
Yeah.
often.
Honestly, he needs to really ponder retirement.
His wife's pretty much begging for it. Like on a couple podcast clips I've seen, she is like, his body's broken and shit. So, yeah, if I were the Rams, kind of a hard situation here because no one likes the idea of tanking. But honestly, in this case, I'd 100% go out there, tell Sean McVay, hey, we understand that this is a blanket year. You go out and do the best you can. We're not tanking ever, but really focus on long-term development with who gets play time this year and build around, because next year, if you can get that number 1 pick when you own it, and Caleb Williams only has to move down the street to SoFi Stadium, it's going to be a lot nicer for you. And can you imagine someone like an offensive genius like McVay with Caleb Williams?
Yeah,
I
let's
would
not
hate
talk about it.
I don't like the Rams, so I would really hate
Yeah,
that.
I know you would. I know.
I think with the Bears having 2 second-round picks, they could make a big splash moving up too, because they have so many picks now.
Mhm.
They could easily move up. I mean, they're down at they
I
have
don't-
54.
If
I
they didn't
don't-
fucking trade for Claypool, they'd have
Yeah.
even another one.
Right,
like-
they have 54 and 61.
There's a couple extenuating circumstances, but I think most teams are not trading the 101 next year. I would
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
I would be hard
Yep.
pressed to find any team that would be in that position to have the 101 actually trading it.
Controversial opinion here. Bears, if you're talking estimated win totals, I think Bears are also up there too. It's just to the point where we kind of saw with the Jaguars. They spent so much money on quality talent. Maybe did they overpay for somebody? Sure, but like
I actually
you
really
brought
don't
in,
think they did.
you brought in some dogs. Yeah, I thought the
I
contracts
thought
were
they
decent.
underpaid.
My
for
biggest-
some
For
players.
TJ Edwards, they
Oh,
did. That's for
definitely.
damn
And
sure.
my
Edwards,
biggest
definitely.
concern was Chicago's coaching.
Yeah,
That's the biggest red
I
flag.
can
is
see
their
that
head-
with Eberflus, but
Yeah,
proven that.
yeah.
they put
Yeah.
all
This is one of the best defensive coordinators the NFL has ever seen.
You just proved his point. He's not a head coach.
Yeah.
I don't think so many of these guys are these coordinators, and so many of them prove it.
Though, I'll give Eberflus credit for is that the second half of the season, you saw him kind of shift the offense to more tailored to Justin Fields' strengths, and that's what you want to see.
Well, to
out
be
of a
fair,
head
the
coach.
Colts were
Yeah.
given a time bomb, and the time bomb is the upper mid roster that we see more times often in the NBA. A team who kind of struggles around like that because they have 8 seeds, so they're sitting there in like that 6 to 8 all the time. And like their roster, the Colts roster for me, JT's amazing, but they kept putting these band-aids on at quarterback, and I think now doing a proper like fucking reset this year. Not a full-on rebuild because you still have pieces in that building that can bring you some success, but
They
maybe
didn't get
understand
rid of
this isn't a
anything that
playoff
they
year.
thought they were going to. Everyone thought we were going to
Yeah.
trade Shaq, Michael Pittman, JT.
No, I think the core nucleus you keep
think
there.
You guys actually are willing to pay Lamar Jackson that retarded amount of money?
I think Jim Irsay is.
Jim Irsay is.
And give up 2 first rounders to do it 'cause that's what this contract deal.
Well, it'd be
Dude,
the
Jim-
first this year and a first next year.
Yeah.
So it's like we're trading Lamar. We're getting, instead of having a CJ Stroud, we're getting Lamar Jackson, who's a
Yeah.
proven MVP in the fucking
And if
NFL.
that happens, Anthony Richardson, I think 100% goes to the Ravens.
It's going to be the second time Indianapolis has fucked Baltimore in the last 50 years.
I'd take CJ Stroud for $5 million for the next 5 years over Lamar Jackson for 50 and giving up 2 first rounders, honestly.
Because if you're the Colts too, that price is
That's a
almost
lot.
doubly high. Like,
you, have a
like
lot, you guys have a lot of high-paid defensive players too. I don't know. We'll see.
and once again, the salary cap can always be renegotiated
Yeah, the
around.
Saints
That's
proved
the
that
hard
here.
part. Well, the fucking KC's proved that.
Buccaneers, the
Yeah, the
Saints,
Saints seem like they're like 50 million over the cap like every single year.
every, the start of every league
They-
calendar.
So the podcast I was listening to said it perfectly. Is they're like a glowing example of the team using the salary cap like a credit card. They just
Whatever.
just swipe. yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll prolong it. Just keep delaying contracts. NFL could cease to exist and they'd still be paying players for 15 years after, like Bobby Bonilla.
They revamped everyone.
They paid a lot of money. The owner paid a lot of money out of pocket to rebuild his salary cap. Because all it does is whenever you readjust the salary cap, it's if the owner's willing to pay it out of his pocket.
Dumb question. but
Mhm.
did they
And Mark
sign
Davis
Herbert?
is cash
Did
poor
they
with the
get-
contracts
did they get
we've
Herbert
been
yet?
giving.
Did they sign Herbert yet?
That'll be this offseason.
Yeah.
So Herbert.
Do
I
you think
he has-
Burrow
I
falls
think
first or Herbert?
has one more year? I think he gets signed next year.
I think they get
This
signed
is-
at the same time.
Once you
Is he going
guarantee
into
a-
year 3 or 4?
So once you guarantee a
4.
year's,
Yeah.
once you guarantee a player's 5th year, which happens this offseason, then you can technically start contract
Okay.
negotiations, and I think it's after the NFL draft. So we
Gotcha.
won't hear anything until probably June. But yeah, do you guys think Burrow or Herbert signs first?
Probably Herbert
Burrow.
because I think Burrow's contract. I think he's going to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Do the Bungles pay him though? They've been
Yes.
notorious for being the cheapest
Nope.
fucking
There's
owners.
a reason.
No,
why
but I
they've
mean,
been
but I
notorious
mean,
for being
I mean,
cheap,
I
though.
mean, do they front? They're going to pay him regardless. If they want to keep him, then they will. But what I'm saying is are they going to fork up the escrow cash to make the cap hit?
Oh,
less?
it's going to be a
Yeah.
10-year contract.
Yeah,
It's going to be like a Patty contract.
I know, but
I don't
but,
think it'll be 10 years.
But the Hunts were smart enough that they keep paying Mahomes cash, so he's not even a top 10 cap hit. Like Brady.
Every
Kraft
year
was
they hand him a $10 million
Kraft
check.
was smart enough too. Every offseason you can expect a fat fucking check coming from the owner that is off the books. Like
think
it's off
he's-
the salary cap.
I think Burrow's going to get like 6 years, 320 million. Like, I think it's going to be a monster contract.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Do you think 60's out of the question? Like total cap, like total number a year, not cap hit,
I don't think
not
it's out of the
everything, but
question.
do you think 60 could be
Lamar
reached?
gets 50, then I think Herbert and Burrow will both get 55 plus.
Well, isn't it Stafford's like the highest paid quarterback right now, and he's getting 57 this year?
I think it's actually Deshaun Watson. Well, actually, no. They
No, he took that
Did you
cap
see
hit.
that? Did you see what his new contract the next 3 years are? He's gonna get 64 million a year the next 3 years because he dropped down. They dropped it down to 19 million for the cap hit this year. That's ridiculous.
That's Harvey Weinstein
They're gonna-
sexual assault money right there.
They're going to do it again, too.
Yeah, probably.
He's gonna get sued so many fucking times.
Yeah, but I want to circle back around to the Chargers too. I am fucking stoked to watch them play with Kellen Moore as their offensive coordinator. They are gonna just with how aggressive he was with the Cowboys offense. That's gonna be an exciting offense.
I say
to
this.
watch.
I say this with a little bit of vitriol for the Chargers, but also like just at a point. This honestly just is a gut feeling here. I think the Chargers take a step back this year.
Really.
I think they threw so much of their hat in last year to be 10-7, and honestly, they were a playoff team. They were among the teams who were in that group of they deserved to be in the playoffs, but they never felt like a title contender to me. And what the moves that
I
they
think it's
made,
the coach. I think
100%.
Staley needs
Yeah.
to go.
Staley is
Yeah.
one
And
of
that's
those
why.
coordinators that's not a head coach.
And that's why.
If they were
Shit,
smart,
after
they would
this
have.
year, I don't even know if he's a coordinator anymore.
They should have jumped on Sean Payton when they had the chance.
And that's where
Especially when he was wearing the ties.
I mean, I'm
showing the
glad they
Chargers
didn't, but-
colors.
But I think the Chargers. I do agree that he stole your Bijan Robinson pick earlier.
Yeah.
I think that if they trade Eckler, which they clearly are going to, I mean, whether it's, that's a weird.
That's where one of the Bears' late twos could go. I don't think Eckler's because these picks that we see on screen are border ones. You know what I mean? Like to the right team, they're worth a first round pick.
Eckler will be it. It'll be a third round pick for Eckler.
No,
He
but
could be a
that's
fourth or a
what I
fifth.
mean
He
is
wants to
because
be
they're so
paid.
far back.
Yeah.
It's like Bears like what 61 is their second, second. Like that's almost a third
I see.
in
Yeah.
that situation.
With the
Yeah.
Eagles going all in on. You mentioned Bijan for the Eagles at 10. What about the? I hate to say it, but the Eagles trading for.
I think that'd be a match made in heaven.
That would be perfect. Actually.
Heaven for that
Again,
offense.
I hate to say it as a Cowboys fan, but I think Eckler to the Eagles makes a lot of sense.
It does.
What about? I've heard all these rumors about Dalvin Cook maybe being traded. Too.
No, he won't be traded. I don't.
I think everybody's just shipping it to the Bills because of his brother and the need for a running back, but also
That'd be fun.
what
No, supposedly the Chargers were trying to trade for him.
Yeah.
I heard it was gonna like an Eckler for Cook type of a trade.
Yeah,
Oh.
Eckler for Cook and a pick.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like
Interesting.
that's still in the rumor mill.
Like you guys would send a pick.
Yeah.
Because Derwin James,
I'm not a Vikings fan, so I don't mean
Contra-
about you guys.
Tweeted-
sorry.
I know you're good.
Come with the Chargers so much, I was
No,
like,
you're
"Hey,
good.
we're
You're good.
Broncos jerseys,
Yep.
Jesus."
Derwin-
It's all good.
Derwin tweeted the other day, go home number 4.
yeah,
Yeah.
but they
And they both played together at FSU.
Yeah, they played together at FSU. Controversial opinion, I think that trade would work out better for both teams because you have Madison in Minnesota and Cook. Yeah, they just
They
re-signed him.
paid him.
So they paid him. Cook's injury prone. So is Eckler before this year, but Eckler being more of that third down back to where maybe you can use Madison in more power situations the way he should be used. Because right now Cook is like jack of all trades, master of none. You know what I mean? Like he does everything really well to where that's going to fit in the Chargers. But like Eckler, clearly, I think his peak is third down back level. Like he's a good one in first and second down, but man, putting him out of the shotgun, letting him run routes, keeping him versatile like that's what he is made to do.
Yeah. Well, I can, and if that doesn't happen, so coming into today, the most confident pick I had in the entire draft was Bijan to the Chargers. Like if I had, the quarterbacks in the top, it's hard to guess exactly how they're gonna fall, but I have this gut feeling that Bijan is going to LA.
I think the only way if he's there, the only way that they wouldn't take him is if one of those like top-notch receivers did slip into that time frame where they're at.
Yeah, because they do need to find a replacement for Keenan over the next couple years, because Keenan's not going to be there too much longer. They're going to need to.
They were about ready to part with him this year. So
Yeah.
Next year he's gone,
Yep.
in my opinion.
Because didn't he restructure to stay?
Yeah.
How's the wide receiver class next year look?
Good. Marvin
Yeah.
Harrison Jr. is in that class.
Oh, buddy.
Well, also
Oh,
you have
buddy.
Anukwa, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He was arguably almost as good as Harrison was this year for Ohio State. Plus, you have a lot of guys for other colleges. Like next year's class is arguably looking better at the top, like more premier talent.
Yeah.
I don't know about depth. I haven't looked that far, but premier talent's a little bit better.
Gotcha.
Someone who I was surprised that the Cowboys did re-sign was Cooper Rush. I didn't think we were going to get him.
The GOAT's back.
He is back.
I was kind of thinking we'd let him go and then we'd draft the kid out of TCU in like the fifth.
I think you
round.
still will. I think you still
Jerry
will.
likes him.
He
Jerry
likes him and Stetson.
Yeah. Actually, I'm good with either one of them. Stetson's
Draft
super mature.
Stetson, then by the time Dak's contract's up, Stetson will be 37, just in time to
Yeah.
take over the reins and lead that team to a
Well,
Super
I'm
Bowl.
curious, I mean, Dak's contract after this year is actually tradable or whatever it is. So if he doesn't calm the hell down on his freaking interceptions and actually win more than one playoff game, I mean, I just don't see how we can keep him beyond this year.
Well, it's crazy because Jerry Jones doesn't often have a chance to draft a guy he went to high school with. So I think it's it's a hell of an opportunity.
I do think the Cowboys could trade up. I mean, they've already done 2 trades this offseason. I think Jerry's kind of proven he's finally actually. He's not making
I think
fast
Steven
decisions.
Jones behind there is not getting the credit for being
Sure.
like the dog that he is because he's I think come more into power the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And that's when we've seen the Cowboys actually be aggressive.
Well, too.
Like,
Yep.
yeah, and actually draft well. Because I think there was rumors for all the years, oh, what are the Cowboys, like, it's always a thing of what are the Cowboys going to do? Well, they actually fucked around, like, got CeeDee Lamb. You know, like, they actually went around and
Yeah.
made some splashes the
I
last
know-
few years. I'm going to give that credit to Stevens. Yeah.
Jerry remains the face of the ownership, but I do not think he pulls any. I think he has input, but I think he's relinquished all of the decision making to
Well, I
Stevens.
think he trusts his son, too.
So like, getting to the point where that senility starting to kick in a little bit.
Yep.
Al Davis, fuck it, draft Darius Hayward Bay.
Well,
What?
yeah. I feel like there's gonna. I don't know why. Maybe even the Panthers somehow in that big trade they gave up a lot, but the fact that they
Somehow
still
he
got
got a Super Bowl
2-8
ring.
was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
They gave up the 49ers, the Christian McCaffrey second round pick in that Bears trade instead of the what is that 30?
Well, here's-
38, 39.
Yep. So they could still grab a wide receiver in that range too.
Well, here's what I like about the Panthers is clearly at this point you're kind of like rebuilding that roster. If you're signaling you're going for another quarterback, it's going to be a couple of years. You know what I mean? What I like about this is DJ Moore, I don't think was re-signing there. So I think to have the foresight to say, hey, instead of giving because it's going to cost like 3 first-rounders plus to trade up to number 1, instead of that, you give DJ Moore, who honestly to your team at that point, if you're like, hey, maybe he doesn't re-sign, we've kind of given him shit quarterback play so far. He's due a contract after next offseason. Use him because he's not valued as a first rounder in your building. But to the Bears, fuck yeah, he is. Like that's better than 109 right there. If you told
Yeah.
me 109 or DJ Moore right now for a young quarterback. But you know the Bears now get both. So I think that's a situation where it worked out for both teams. The Panthers didn't pay this heavy tax. I'm not going to say they won. You don't give up that much and win a trade, but they didn't lose it.
I would agree with that. And to throw another thing in the hat here, by drafting a quarterback and saving some money on a contract that way for the Panthers, do you think they take on DeHopkins' contract and maybe
They
throw
could. They
a
got
third or
Sanders in
fourth
there.
and take
Just
on his
surround
contract?
him with fucking talent.
So-
What I've read, the Cardinals say that they want a second and
A player.
Isn't Hopkins 31 years old?
Yeah, and he's also getting his $27
And
million
he
cap hit
keeps
this
getting
year.
injured
That's-
every
I mean,
year.
That's why the Cowboys I think were
PED
looking at it.
suspension last year.
Yeah.
Cowboys
Oh, you're right.
wanted to trade for him, but when we can get, don't get me wrong, DeAndre Hopkins is better than Brandon Cooks, but DeAndre Hopkins for a second rounder and whatever you have to give, and have to take on his massive contract. I mean, I'd rather have Hopkins, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
If you're the Cardinals, you can kind of play hardball, though. You're in a position where this is a throwaway year. Honestly, if you're Jonathan Gannon, not the worst situation because, like, it's like, fuck it. You don't have Kyler for probably half the year, if not most of the year. If you're losing at that point, you don't play him. Fuck it. Roll the dice. Like, go out there, get some developmental guys, maybe trade back, but also, like, really recoup your assets because you're in a point where teams are trying to improve. You're kind of you're obviously trying to improve, but like you're sitting here like, next year's we can only go out and do our best.
Yep.
So yeah, recoup, get a bunch of high upside players, let them play, let them flush out their mistakes as a rookie, and Kyler comes back to a better roster.
I don't think Kyler ever
Hold-
makes a playoff game.
No, I disagree.
I don't think he does for Arizona.
No.
Spicy.
I don't
Jace just
think
likes him because he's
overrated.
targeted him in
good.
fantasy.
Worst attitude of all time.
His attitude's terrible, but what I've seen on tape from him is like there's few
Insane.
quarterbacks that can ever do that.
Of course,
Like like when he can scramble out to the outside hash and just sidearm a 45-yard bomb that's just right on the fucking money. It's like Jesus.
I'll say
Like,
this
some of his
attitude you can
just-
fix.
Yes, his talent is unbelievable, and I think that
Cannot
he
you
just
fix
had a
that
real.
attitude. You start winning.
And I think he honestly, Cliff. We can't deny the elephant in the room that Cliff Kingsbury was a terrible coach too, and he did not mesh well with Kyler's personality either.
I don't
So
think bringing in a defensive coordinator as a head coach is going to help his.
no, I disagree.
I don't like their hiring.
I mean, I totally agree. I thought that Gannon hire was awful. I don't know what the front office is doing.
I think they were saying, "Oh, the Eagles really good this year. Let's hire their fucking coordinators." And the
Steichen
Colts got
was-
the good one,
Yeah.
and
Steichen
Cardinals
was
got the other one.
perfect fit for that job, and yeah,
That's where I think AR-15 could honestly go to the Colts. Like, because of what Steichen likes to run in his offense, AR-15, if you can tell me to replace Jalen Hurts with AR-15 and try to develop him that way around a bunch of talent, like, he might take that chance as, like, a fresh head coach. I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is worse than AR-15, but if I'm Shane Steichen, I'm looking at that offense, I'm like, holy fuck, this is perfect.
I got
Like,
weapons.
yeah.
What do you have? At
Yeah, you
quarterback
got
currently?
Alec Pierce, you have Michael
Gardner
Pittman,
Minshew.
Jonathan
Yeah.
Taylor.
Maybe just sign somebody. I think Gardner's going to surprise some people.
Plot
this
twist:
year.
the Colts continue the trend and end up surprising everybody, trading for Aaron Rodgers. He changes his jersey number to 15. We got our AR-15, guys.
Yep.
Two more years.
Andrew Luck's coming out of retirement, boys.
This is the year. Yep.
No,
Let's
Andrew
not
Andrew
joke
Luck.
about
Have you seen how skinny that boy got after retirement?
Yeah.
He couldn't take a hit nowadays. I'm like, if
No.
he got retired for being injured before when he was like 250, like he's like a $195 now. Good for him. I'm sure he feels amazing, but that's not a weight you step in and play quarterback at 6'5" at.
Yep.
So after our draft, what's the best available right now? Should go to all. Kind of curious.
Oh, whoops. We go back on that. All right, so right now,
Anton Harrison, Broderick Jones, Dewan Jones, Tanner McKee,
I don't.
Felix, and Enudike Uzama,
Anudike Uzamoa.
Onodike Uzamoa, Mozzie Smith, BJ Olarji, Emmanuel Forbes, Darian Henley, Steve Avila, Luke Musgrave, and Tank Dell are the top 10.
I feel like I don't think that a lot of those tackles are gonna. We have a lot of tackles that slipped farther than we.
I think, yeah, I don't
I
think
think
we
the
got the
second-
tackles. I think Anton and Broderick will go round one. Anton, because of his athletic upside, he's going to get that treatment like Colton Miller got. Who are a couple of the other guys from the last few years? Like Trevor Penning got. Trevor Penning was a mid-day 2 pick before his combine.
I think Broderick
Colin
Jones and
Strange.
Anton Harrison could both go in like the top 25.
Colin Strange, the
Yep.
people that everyone had going day
Cole
3.
Strange.
Cole Strange.
Cole Strange.
Yeah, fuck you for forgetting
That was
his
such
name.
a weird fucking pick. I remember
It
we
worked
were,
out, though. He was
Yeah.
great this year for the
We
Patriots.
were all like,
Still could have gone in
what?
the second or third round. It was still so stupid.
Yeah.
I don't care if that guy's a Hall of Famer.
I'm worried we're going to pull some shit like that after
agree.
watching the Patriots last year. McDaniels is going to be like, let's go outside the box at number 7. Like,
Actually,
no.
it would still be a Raiders thing to do at the same time.
I know, Raiders and Patriots somehow. Yeah, like somehow it fits, but it
Like,
doesn't.
You guys trade. Are you guys actually going to trade your running back or?
Jacobs, here's my opinion on Josh Jacobs, okay? Obviously, I want to keep him. We're a better team with that. I want to fucking win this year. However, I can see the pragmatic GM upside of it is still a running back in the NFL. If someone comes to sign him, he's on the non-exclusive, so we get 2 first-rounders back for him, just like the fucking
Nobody's
Ravens
gonna
would
give up
get
2
with
first
Lamar.
rounders for Josh Jacobs.
Exactly. So if someone's stupid enough to, why would we not? Like at
Exactly.
that point, it's like, what the fuck? Yeah, we'll go out and get Bijan at 7. Then like,
You
dog,
end up
like
trading
whatever.
him for whatever the return is.
I could see.
Buy John at 7. That could be.
I could see the Eagles trading the 29th pick for him. Josh
Yeah.
Jacobs would be a good fit there in Philadelphia.
Yeah. So yeah, it's 2 first-rounders unless there's other compensation
Yeah.
agreed upon it. But if you're the Raiders, fuck you. But then also, if some team comes in swinging like a wrecking ball, then you can just straight up say, fuck you, we're not negotiating. You are now mandated to give us 2
But I
first-round
think,
picks.
the other thing to look at too is that running backs are just not valued. That you look at their contracts and what they get, and the fact that premier talent running backs like Bijan Robinson and like Brees Hall usually don't even go until the 20s in the first round, even when
Brees
they are
was a
premier
second-rounder
talent.
last year, yeah. Like,
Yeah, so it's like
Taylor.
Jonathan
Second-rounder.
Taylor. Yeah, so it's just like there's not NFL teams typically don't put first round grades on running backs.
And
Yeah.
the Cowboys have proven you don't pay running backs.
Yeah, but-
$10 million anymore.
no offense. Bijan is a better prospect
different.
than Brees was. Bijan is a better
Yeah.
prospect than Taylor was.
He's a better
Bijan,
prospect than LaDainian Tomlinson was.
yes, no.
Huh.
If you are a draft day analyzer in 2001, checking
You
out
say-
TCU's LaDainian Tomlinson, and I'm checking out Bijan Robinson from Texas right now, not knowing what LaDainian Tomlinson turns into. 100% Bijan is a better prospect.
by
by
like
barely.
2 points.
Well, depending on your
It was
analysis, there.
1.68 was the thing that I saw. Like,
Okay.
in the overall. Points.
I was about to say, yeah, LT is still like an all-timer, but like I think when we're talking Bijan, you got to realize at Texas, a Big 12 school, he broke the forced tackles record this year, and that was still very well snap sharing with Roshan Johnson, who's a sleeper running back I like too. Both running backs from
Brand-
Texas are awesome.
Jake says they're both fucking starters.
Yeah, Bijan is just he is next level, and it's
Yeah.
because of what he brings these days. It's
Yeah.
the receiving game. It's
Yeah.
the receiving game. He can play well in the receiving game.
You
He's
could line
quick.
him out at slot.
Yeah, and just equal parts like elusiveness and power. Like we're talking Adrian Peterson level mix
Yeah.
of that, but a little bit more agile.
Okay.
Well, for the longest time, everyone thought Adrian Peterson was gonna break LaDainian Tomlinson's combine score or draft score, and he never did. So they came to the conclusion that no one was gonna break LaDainian Tomlinson. So they started just comparing everyone to AP. So he broke AP and LaDainian Tomlinson's.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like 4.43 at the combine. Massively great in shuttle drills. Came in at 225, 6'3".
And Leonard Fournette's
Like
the
he's
only other
just
person to break APs.
Yeah.
Still think he doesn't go in the top 20 unless something weird happens.
He's one of the only running backs that's worth a gamble in years to go take him.
I'd say right now I'd put 50-50 on it for him to go top. Now from top 20.
10.
If he does go, I think someone goes early on him. I don't think I think if he lasts till the teens, at that point you'll slot him past 20. It's too many teams there need too much else. But
the Titans could be a weird one if they do trade Henry. I don't think that happens either. But imagine the Titans trade Henry to like the Bills. That'd be sick.
Oh,
I'd
my
shit myself.
God.
But in that offense, though, it'd be interesting because Derrick Henry is honestly not the best out of the shotgun. He's still Derrick fucking Henry,
But
but
he's
like
the
you
Yeti,
want
and you
him.
send him to a cold weather
Yep.
area. It snows. He goes. You know, it's
They kind of would fit.
that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
So
Yep.
I think this offseason has proven that the Patriots are going to give Mac Jones one more year with more weapons.
Yeah.
But
If they totally tank, though, there's quarterbacks next year. There's
Yeah.
QBs. There'll be a couple of guys who shoot themselves into the first round
Oh,
too.
I just hope they keep whiffing. If the Patriots can whiff for the next 30
I
years,
heard
that'd be a
the
beautiful
Patriots are
thing.
gonna have competition between Zappy and Mac going into.
Oh, please do.
They
Yeah,
should.
by all means. So
I love
those
Zappy.
two elite talents, yeah, you gotta really just give them every opportunity.
Maybe Zappy was
I know you guys
nasty
are
for
all
a
in on
3-game
Caleb
stretch.
Williams,
Yeah.
and I understand why. But
Drake,
He's 6 foot Kyler Murray.
again, I
6'2".
understand why, but I also like the North
I
Carolina
just went
kid.
with
The North Carolina
the
kid's
6
going
in
to
front of
be
it.
a better NFL quarterback.
dude,
I'll call
even
it right now.
even Tulane's
I'll
got
tell
it. Even Tulane's got a
Are you
guy.
talking about Sam Howell?
who's- Drake May.
No,
No, Drake
no,
May.
Drake May.
Oh, we're talking about next year.
Yeah, next
Sorry,
year.
I thought we were still